about what's happened with, because it was a while ago now, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh yeah.
Because you heard about what it was, I think it was like a month ago or maybe more. Apparently there was some, is it a Catholic bishop in America, wouldn't let her take communion.
Okay.
Because of her stance on
abortion.
Yeah. And so she bypassed him and flew to Rome and they gave it to him.
Yeah.
Or her or something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, that is, basically, Catholicism does not say that popes or cardinals or bishops will always make good decisions.
Right.
They can make bad decisions. That's perfectly to be anticipated, not to be surprised by. And from my point of view, that was a bad move.
Right. But by who?
By the Vatican. But they make a lot of bad moves at different times in history. At other times in history, they make a lot of good moves, consistently good ones.
Bad move by what they do?
The Speaker of the House of Representatives in the United States, Nancy Pelosi, is a nominal Catholic. She believes in abortion, which is contrary to Catholic teaching. A bishop in the United States or a priest in the United States refused to give her communion, which is the proper thing. But she went to Rome and received communion there, which is not the proper thing.
Right. Is communion not between you and your God?
No. It's a rule and the church is established by God himself, and the rules are determined by that church. And we only know what God wants by listening to the church. That's the Catholic Church. She knows that. She is an apostate. She'll burn in hell if she doesn't mend her ways. Though she might say it's between her and God, she'll be in the hot flames saying that, lest she mends her ways.
Is it not passing judgment?
Pardon?
Is it not passing judgment?
Pretty much yes, it is. Because she might amend her ways, you know. She might change. Therefore, it's not like I'm saying she's definitely going to hell, because I don't know the future of her life. But I'm telling you, she is on the road to hell. Anybody who, say, goes and robs a bank or commits adultery is on the road to hell. So they're going to hell. Hell is over there and they're going there. She's going there. So that's right.
Catholics give communion. Is it like you find righteous people to give them communion, or you invite people to come and take communion?
Now, you have to be a Catholic. If you're a Catholic, you have to be in a state of grace. That is, if you've committed a serious sin, you've gone to confession, it's been confessed and forgiven by the priest by the power of Christ.
Before you come to
then you can go to Holy Communion, not before.
So you guys are different from the Protestants?
Yes, because the Protestant religion was invented in Central North Europe 500 years ago, but Jesus was on the earth establishing his church 1500 years before that. So we must differ from them, otherwise we'd be bonkers.
You are different from Protestants?
Yes, our religion isn't a North Central European religion founded in the early modern age.
So you consider the Protestants are not Christians or what?
Well, they have numerous elements of Catholicism. They are almost Catholics in their central beliefs, but they are deficient Christians.
All Christians used to be Catholics?
Yes. Yes, at various times they've split away.
Because I'm a Protestant, I'm a Presbyterian.
Well, what I described applies to you, my good man. You have a substantial proportion of Catholicism. If there'd been no Catholic Church, there'd be no Presbyterianism. You've said it yourself, effectively, that everybody was Catholic once. Well, I'm saying that the removal of groups from Catholicism was an error by them. Though they felt aggrieved by the behaviours of certain popes and cardinals and bishops and so on, nonetheless, the decision to move out, to ship out, was contrary to the will of Christ.
Actually, I don't know if you can give him that verse. You know what he said about Nancy taking the communion? So it says, so 1 Corinthians 11 and 27.
Growing sick and dying. Getting sick and dying, receiving communion unworthily.
Well, yeah. It says, wherefore, whoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. Let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not. Oh no, that's
2 Corinthians
no, 1 Corinthians 11.
11.
Yeah, 27.
Yes. Well, we're not saying though that she will grow sick and die, because certainly it was happening in St. Paul's time, and certainly it is a risk for those who are so wanton in their approach to sacred things. Because a Protestant who would do what she's done in ignorance would not be at risk, because they're doing it in ignorance. But she is raised in the old faith. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Well, but you say in ignorance, but why would you say she would be doing it in ignorance?
Well, it's possible. A Catholic today doesn't know necessarily that this is the body and blood of Christ. He'll swan up to communion, just having gone to bed with his girlfriend, and just what I used to do many, many decades ago. I had not a clue that this was wrong.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is the Protestants are not preaching it properly.
No, the Catholics aren't preaching it properly. To the Catholics.
All right. Yeah. Well, Protestants as well. That's what
Yeah, but talking about Pelosi,
yeah.
a born and bred Catholic. She was raised in the faith in a way that I wasn't, because I was raised in the faith of the modern times.
Right.
She's the old style Catholic, so she knows. It was drilled into them.
Well, the fact she went to it shows she knows what it means, isn't it? The fact she flew all the way to the Vatican, so she knew the...
Precisely.
So, but that's an interesting one.
And the Vatican, that's interesting. The Vatican gave it to her. That means, and that's the citadel. They are the, so to speak. Excuse me.
It's okay, mate. Sorry.
They are custodians of proper Catholicism.
Yeah.
Like they understand it
Yeah.
much better, and they gave it to her. So why do you think
Because
they did that?
because
They are in error.
because there are wicked people even at the very top
And
echelons of the church. This happens at times. Yeah. They gain positions because of various movements that go on. It can go on. This process can go on over 200 years to get to where we are now. And it's not noticed for a long time. And then suddenly, even the non-Catholic world sees what people like me and other Catholics knew was going on some decades ago, but wasn't obvious to those outside.
So you know the verse that I just read there? Could that be used to rebuke in like a textual way what the Vatican did? Because they're effectively complicit in her potentially
In her sacrilege.
Yeah.
It's sacrilege to unworthily, knowingly receive the Holy Eucharist, which is, for us, the absolute summit of our religion.
Yeah.
No matter how bizarre to outsiders that may seem, that is the fact for us. She knows that. These priests know that. Now, she's a crook. Right? She's a literal crook because she became rich and her husband became rich on insider dealing on stocks and shares. You don't, unless she's a brilliant stock trader, but that's right, yeah. However, putting aside the actual mundane crookery, the spiritual crime of knowing what the Eucharist is and then going to receive it sacrilegiously won't go unanswered by God in this life or the next. But that she's just a crook, as I say. The prelates in the Vatican are there to be guardians, shepherds of this sheepfold Jesus, after all, created with great pain, the greatest pain and suffering. So it's no joke. These guys, some of these guys in Germany, in Holland, in the Vatican, they take the mick. They're taking the mick out of Jesus, though. So they are in for a big bad time. Now, I know what you're saying, it's judgmental. But at this stage, I can't help myself. They're on the road to hell. Another bunch of guys. But as I said earlier, to some of the other guys, St. John Chrysostom, who's a doctor of our church, so he's a major, major figure, St. John. He said that the floor of hell is paved with the skulls of Catholic bishops. So we can say, if St. John, in the 5th century AD, could say what he said, who am I to kind of like not say what I'm saying with far less eloquence than Mr. Goldenmouth did?